Hello and welcome to the Vaults of Terra. My name is Ed and today we're going to be continuing with our Imperial Guard Regiment videos with a quick look at the Tanith First Only. Now, a quick disclaimer, this video will contain spoilers as to the Gaunts Ghosts series by Dan Abnett. So if you do not want to be spoiled as to those books, I suggest you go away and read them now. It will definitely give you a primer on the Tanith Regiment. Now, another disclaimer is that we will not be going into the level of detail some people may desire about the First and Only, primarily because that's not the focus of these regiment videos. So we will not be going into any focus on the characters or any of the battles that have taken place in the books. These will be mentioned later on in other videos. So now that's out of the way, let's continue on to the video itself. Now, the Tanith First Regiment, also known as the Tanith First and Only, was an Imperial Guard regiment raised during the Sabbat World's Crusade from the now lost forest world of Tanith, whose constantly shifting forests of Nalwood led to its people becoming almost supernaturally good at tracking and moving with great stealth on the battlefields, requiring the skills of navigation when trying to navigate their ever-moving forests. The regiment is also known as the Gaunts Ghosts after their commanding officer, Colonel Commissar Ibrahim Gaunt. Their name is also a sad reminder of the fact that their homeworld Tanith was completely destroyed by the forces of chaos shortly after their initial founding, and that they are probably some of the last people from the world of Tanith alive in the universe. Now, originally, the Tanith raised 3 regiments for the Imperial Guard, the Tanith First, Second and Third. When originally Colonel Commissar Ibrahim Gaunt was sent to Tanith to oversee the founding of these regiments, he was not impressed by the quality of men being raised, seeing them as quite softly spoken and cautious movers, not prime frontline soldier material. Now, as mentioned, on the night of the founding ceremony, Tanith was attacked by the forces of chaos. Rather than stay and defend the world, however, Gaunt ordered as many men as possible to be evacuated off-world, allowing the regiment to survive as the planet and the people upon it were immolated by the invasion fleet's bombardment fire. Now, the remnants of these 3 regiments were formed into a single regiment, the Tanith First and Only. Gaunt's original opinion of the regiment was also changed quite early in their actions, when they showed their stealth prowess using camo cloaks and knives to quickly and quietly overwhelm enemy forces without major loss of life to the regiment itself. During the Sabbat World's Crusade, the Ghosts' expertise was critical to the Imperial success on a number of worlds. However, they did develop rivalries with other more illustrious regiments, in particular the Jantine Patricians and the Volpone Bluebloods, often putting the Ghosts at risk due to the retaliation from these regiments. Now, also, the regiment took heavy losses in its early action, such as on Voltamand and Fortis Binary. With Tanith destroyed, the First and Only had no homeworld to draw on new recruits to recoup their losses, and so were forced to draw on citizens from other worlds to reinforce their regiment, the primary recruits being from the Vervenhive of Voltamand and the 81st Belladonna Recon Regiment, which helped offset these losses. In battle, the Tanith are superior scouts and marksmen, who use stealth tactics regularly and excel in the role of light infantry. They are also said to possess an unerring sense of direction, traits developed for survival on a planet where their forests actually moved to conceal any original paths taken. Now, their newer intakes do not share this skill in navigation, but have been able to support the stealth elements through their role as superior light infantry. Now, the uniform of the Tanith is black in order to maintain stealth, and it has optional helmets for standard troopers, and forge caps for the regiment's elite scout platoon. Camo cloaks made of cameline are standard to everyone in the regiment. Now, the cap badge for the Tanith is a wreath-surrounded skull with 3 daggers behind it, each dagger representing a Tanith regiment. On the badge is the inscription, "For Tanith, for the Emperor." Now, after the destruction of Tanith and the 2nd and 3rd regiments, the Tanith snapped off 2 of the outside daggers on their cap badges, leaving 1 dagger through the skull. Now, the Vergestite cap badge is an axe rake to symbolise their former hive's mining and industrial background, which also shows a little bit of distinction within the regiment. However, after some initial rocky relations within the Gaunts Ghosts, the entire regiment pulled together and is now a more cohesive whole. Finally, it's noted that the weapons of the Tanith are quite standard for Imperial Guard. They have the special weapon of a flamer and the heavy weapon of a missile launcher, although the type of missile launch they appear to favour is cut down, referred to informally as a tread fether, feth being an expletive on Tanith. Now, every soldier has a long double-edged bayonet/combat blade that the Tanith call straight silver, and they use it to great effect when they are infiltrating enemy lines. Now, that is everything I'm mentioning about the Tanith today. As I mentioned previously, this is not focused on the specific battles or upon the characters from the books. This will come later, and I do understand if people were expecting more, but unfortunately this is the structure of the videos so far. I hope that has answered anyone else's questions. If you do have any more questions or any further suggestions for videos, you can leave it in the comments section below, or you can head to the Vox Relay, the Vaults of Terra forum, where you can join up and talk to many members of the Vaults of Terra community who are very active and intelligent people who have a lot to share about the lore lore of Warhammer 40,000. So that's everything for this week. See you next time on the Vaults of Terra.